Hello and welcome back. My name's Mark, and on this channel we like to do either a patch from scratch or a reverse patch from scratch, as I call it, where I come up with something during the week and then try and demo that to you guys and then do a breakdown and kind of explain how I came up with the idea and how it all hangs together. So recently I've been trying to keep it nice and simple. I've been doing a lot of patches with the BIA. So again, what I've decided is to keep it simple. As you can see, there's some new stuff in the rack here. There's a lot of big modules and not a lot of complexity. So yeah, so today it's going to be all about the Intellijel Atlantis. I absolutely love this thing. I want to do a full breakdown of this kind of semi-modular behemoth that takes up so much of our HP. But I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of it. So I'm going to jump straight into the patch and then go through the breakdown. Just before we do, just quickly, it will be the Atlantis through the Erbe Verb, secondary voice coming from Loquelic onto the external input, variegate and voltage modulating this, and the NerdSec sequencing the Loquelic. That's pretty much it. Drum section over here as usual with the dot sequencing squid sample. And then everything going out through the ES9 out into Ableton with a little bit of kick sidechain. That's all. And then some mastering levels to output this onto YouTube. So nothing else going on off screen in Ableton. So let's get on with it. Do the patch. And then I'll go through the breakdown and just start a little bit of an explanation of how I like to use the Atlantis here. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. Really, really loving this module. Oh my God. Massive amounts of reverb. Sorry about that if you don't like it, if it's a little bit over the top, but absolutely loving that. So, what have we got going on here? Not going to bother about the drums. Nice and simple. Didn't even use any hats. Didn't think it was needed. Just a bit of kick, bit of pump. Probably could have done the whole patch just completely ambient without the kick, but do like a good kick. So, forget the drums. Carbon's doing nothing here. So what have we got going on? What was I doing? Okay, so let's start with the Atlantis itself. So if we start on, let's just kick this off. So we've got no external coming in from the Loquelic. And let's give a bit of frequency. Okay, so we've got a little pitch sequence coming here, going into the volts per octave. And then this cable here, the gate is going into steppy. So we've just got a nice simple kind of bass line stroke melody here. Okay, that's the simple part of it. Now, if we take out this level, I'll come to that in a bit. So we can just open up the filter. This always sounds nice. Bit of resonance. Okay, so that's the basis of our voice. So, what do we do to make that sound a bit better? So, because we've got volts per octave coming in here, we can open up the filter. Now, this is something that I often do on the Carbon. When I send something through maybe the Loquelic, if I'm then sending that through a Carbon, which I am here, then I'll often send it into the volts per octave here, so that it'll just open up the filter a little bit. On the Atlantis, you get it for free right there. So that instantly gives us a little bit more of a melodic bass line just opening up on the higher notes. So that's the volts per octave. Then you can use the envelope here, so just a standard fairly long envelope here. I've just taken the attack off a little bit just to make sure that this envelope doesn't go over the top. But if we bring this, we're sending this ADSR envelope into the frequency cutoff. So again, that would be another wire here going into the FM input of the Carbon. So your two wires, your volts per octave and your FM there are covered by your envelope and your 1 volt per octave here. Okay, so there's the basics of what I was doing with the VCF. What else have we got going on? The Loquelic. How can I play the Loquelic? I don't think I can play it on here without the main voice. Can I? Yes, I can. Let's take the main voice off here, which is just the square wave with a sub oscillator. And then let's listen to the Loquelic. So that's just going along there and playing alongside. So you can easily take the second voice in and out on the level here. Now if you don't patch anything in there, you can get a standard sine wave there. But then that sine wave is using the volts per octave here, so this will give us exactly the same. So you've got a sine wave, a sub oscillator and a square there, but they're all playing the same thing. Go through the external, and now it's using the nerd-sec sequence into the Loquelic to give us like this nice second voice. Okay, what else? I'm not using the noise. Didn't really see the need to use the noise here. Now the main thing that I was doing was modulating the level here. Now the voltage block, very, very similar to Mimetic Digitalis. I actually prefer this more than Mimetic for a few reasons that I'll just go into quickly. The one negative is it's big. Next to the Atlantic, it's taking up half the case. My God. Mimetic is nice and small. It's great if you've got everything pre-programmed. But I actually like to play this more than the mimetic, because the mimetic you can do a load shred or a load zero shred, and you get your random. Now you can do that here. You can hold down shift, hit random. It'll give you random, which is great. But I love these sliders. I love just playing up and down, which you've got the knob on the mimetic, but these are far more playable. So horses for courses, really. This is silver, that's silver, they look good together, so there's one reason. Voltage block, you get twice as many CV lanes, obviously, but it's more than twice the HP, so, you know, if you got the space, use this. The mimetic goes really, really well with all of the other noise engineering modules. So what I was doing here is we are modulating the level. And we're just on channel 1 here, and I had a few save points. Now I've got this main channel 1 save point here, and then we had a couple of breakdowns, so there's a lot less going on channel 2. So that's just modulating our VCA, and then going back to home. Channel 3 again, breakdown, 4. And then I think during that I actually ad-libbed and came up with one, so let's just go for a breakdown. And then if you're happy with that, then just save it into a slot, and then you're ready to go back home. So that's all we're doing with voltage block there. So now let's simplify this. Let's get rid of the Loquelic. And let's just simplify our frequency cutoff here. Okay. Now, the other thing I was doing here was modulating the filter with this. So I've actually got this on a square wave at VCO rate, so it's at an extremely high rate, and then send that into here and listen what happens. And then everyone likes to play with a bit of resonance. And I think that's pretty much all I was doing here. Now, of course, bringing in the Erbe Verb. Now look at the Erbe Verb. I've got the Erbe Verb on maximum size, and I had it up here with a fairly long decay. And there was this nice sort of automatic rise and fall going through. So, you know, it's nice to have rises, but I was just letting that happen automatically and then kind of playing around the rise and the fall. So the way I was doing that was the decay here, if you follow this is going to here, and we've got this very slow LFO here, the second slowest LFO on the oct, just attenuated. In fact, it's not really attenuated much. I've got it at maximum. Didn't realise I got it at maximum here. But it's always worth attenuating these if everything's going a bit haywire. And then, oh, I know why. Because I didn't actually need that in the end. That's just a pass through here, so that I could get cables around without coming straight across. Because the Earth Verb's got its own built-in attenuators. So, I mean, that's fairly high. The decay is already high. So if we now take this up, and all of a sudden, the Atlantis, with a bit of clocked Erbe Verb, is transformed. I mean, that sounds mighty. I mean, I probably overdid it when I was up here on the dry wet most of the time. And then towards the end, we were right round here as we took off the bass, the kick. Now, a little bit about the Earth Verb, how I like to use it. Now, obviously, we've got this nice sweeping decay through an LFO, which is great. Generally, you're probably be down here, which now sounds a bit strange. Hang on, let's just turn off the decay. Now the thing that makes the Earth Verb really special to me is the pre-delay. Clocked pre-delay, just... I mean, I don't know a lot about the technicalities of reverb, but when it's clocked, and we've got the pre-delay, and listen to the difference between that so it's adding that extra note, and that's what gives the magic to the Earth Verb to me. Let's bring that decay back in. Well, actually, before, if people don't know a lot about the Erbe Verb, what else? The tilt. So if we look at tilt, let's just level everything off here. So the tilt will give us a little bit higher frequency. I mean, I'm not too good on the technicalities here. So you've got higher frequencies, or we can numb them away. So I'm generally got the tilt a little bit high. Absorb. Kind of takes away the high end. So I kind of like a little bit of absorption. Bring the pre-delay in. I mean, just listen to those extra subtleties from the pre-delay. Let's go a little bit higher on the pre-delay, see what happens. I mean, that's a completely different rhythm. And totally clocked. Another rhythm. Love this thing. So let's go back to where we were. Maximum size. Up the decay. I mean, this thing will if you don't have anything going through it and you increase the size and put the decay at maximum, it self-resonates and goes away with itself. So we're around there, just allowing this LFO to just slowly wind up the decay. Let's bring Loquelic back in. And it seems a bit extreme to have the size all the way up, but it just sounds good, so I'm leaving it there. And that's pretty much all I did, really. So let's just recap on what we've got there. We've got a massive reverb and a decay giving us rise and fall, and we're clocked. Just a kick drum, nothing else. And then we are sending, the Atlantis through the Earth Verb, absolutely epic. But all we're doing here is we're sending an extra voice in through the external from Loquelic with its own separate melodic sequence. Main melodic sequence coming from Variegate here. We're modulating the VCA. So my main home point was here on say point 1, but say point 2, this will break it down. I was then playing with resonance. When the decay is high, so playing with the resonance here, not getting as much, so kind of wait until the LFO comes back in. Here we go, starting to come in. Now let's go for some resonance. so it's not as overpowering. And then we can just play around with sending the envelope into this filter. So I know it's semi-modular, we're not plugging the wires in, but this thing just gives you so much sound, all from one place. I mean, sending that envelope in is epic. And then sending an audio rate modulation. I mean, that's totally transformed the sound again. Epic. And then towards the end, we ditched the drum. Went wild on the dry wet. And then you can just slowly fade. And you can still hear that Earth Verb. So just as I was saying, let's take out the decay modulation. Let's just turn up the decay maximum. And the thing just goes away on its own. So there we have it. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have, as usual, give it one of them. If you haven't, don't give it one of them, but if you do, let me know why. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I think I'm going to do a full breakdown on this if anyone wants it. I mean, there are a few videos out there. I might link to them giving a breakdown, but you know, not interested in just saying, oh, this is a square wave, this is a saw wave. I won't go into that kind of level of detail, but the kind of the way that I was using it there. And also just how all of these things link together, because if you're not used to it, it is a little bit difficult to understand. But yeah, you've got your main sound sources here. This is what your actual sound sources is doing, so you can set your octave, your fine tuning. You've then got this second thing that you can actually send that into here, affect the VCO, but you can also send it into your filter. So there's a lot that it can do. And also the other thing I like about it is that you can send individual portions through other parts of your system. So you can make use of, if say you don't want to use the voices here, but you think, oh, I want to use the ADSR, great, you've got an ADSR. You want to use the filter, great, just use the filter on its own. It's got all these inputs. And it's also got a load of different outputs, and you can send these back into itself. But yeah, I mean, it does loads of stuff. It's great. It is massive. It's not the kind of thing that people, like when they're getting into modular. You like lots of little different things, plug everything in. But I love this thing. I'm going to be using it a lot. I've had it a week now. I've had about 2 or 3 chances to play it. I mean, that took me probably about an hour to learn and a couple of hours to set that up. So yeah, absolutely loving it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.